for Purdue.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to our 2-hour-long homecoming special. Dakota Simon, Dan Gray producing, Connor Hoke behind us right here, and I'm Tommy Barrett. And wow, we made it. We finally made it, Dakota.
It's homecoming weekend.
It's homecoming weekend, and we've been talking about this show for a while. I know you guys have been listening to our radio show. I know you've been watching Connor and I's TV show. But Dakota, if you have never watched Purdue Package, this is Purdue Package. So it's 3 of us, 4 of us, every single week. We have a radio show, we have a TV show, and we just bring Purdue sports to you the best way that it can be through the eyes of a college student here at Purdue University in Dakota. It's been special. It's been a good year.
It has. It's been a great year, and you know what? Like you said, you can't get this perspective from anywhere, A lot of the guys, blackandgold.com, other websites, those are grown adults that get paid to do this.
Yeah.
We're students. We do this for free.
Hey.
We love it.
We paid to go to this university. To talk about sports.
Yeah, and it's a great opportunity for us to talk. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today, all sorts of Purdue sports.
Well, if you stay with us the entire time, bravo.
2 hours.
I appreciate you.
You can do it.
You are the reason why we are where we are. So, Dakota, that's Purdue Package, right?
Yes, sir.
It's homecoming. So, what do you do now? It's Friday. It's now Friday of homecoming. We have Saturday football. We got volleyball tonight. You got volleyball tomorrow. What are you doing for homecoming?
Well, honestly, first I want to talk about all the people coming back to campus.
Yeah.
I love that. I love seeing guys who've graduated. You see them around campus. You'll see them at the volleyball and the football game. You see a lot of just parents that love being here and are really true diehard Purdue fans. And as for me, I like to be in the social scene. So I like being around.
Of course, you like to be in the social scene.
I like to be in the social scene. I'll head out to Harry's maybe and hang out with some people. I'll go to the football game. And it's a great experience, especially coming off a win. You love going into homecoming weekend.
Don't worry, we will dive into the wins, the losses, everything in this special. We just want to talk about homecoming. So it's Friday for me. So I know the volleyball team has a big match tonight.
They do.
I know we're playing Penn State, number 10 team in the country. You might see me there. I might venture over there.
Yeah.
But as you said, I like the social scene idea.
You got to be on the social scene.
It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
And there's some news that came out today too. Did you happen to see the news that happened on homecoming about the new lights here?
I love it. I love it. The Big Ten Network hooked us up. The conference wanted us to get lights for more night games, which. I think since we've been here 3 years, one night game against Notre Dame.
Our freshman year.
Unbelievable. Sold out.
It was a great venue.
Yeah.
And I think the night game, what it does is it takes the game itself and makes it an entire long event.
Yeah.
Because, I actually went to Bloomington one time. I don't know why I did it, Dakota.
Tommy.
I don't know why.
Oh my.
But it was a night game. They played Michigan State.
Right.
And it was a day. It was the whole day.
It's a day-long experience.
You wake up, you tailgate, you eat, and the game is not till 8 o'clock. And it's perfect because it's a perfect cap to your evening.
I agree, and with this weather, it's cooling down a little bit. It's not too hot in the stadium anymore. You get some more night games. You play under the lights. It's that atmosphere that you get.
You bring a recruit to a night game.
Exactly. They love it. It's kind of the same atmosphere that you get in a high school game with Friday night lights.
Yeah.
People love going to those games. You see Ohio State, you see Alabama night games almost every week. That's something that we're going to be able to have here now, and no more. Bringing the portable lights in anymore, doing that type of thing, which was kind of cool to see.
Extravaganza.
Yeah, it was an extravaganza, but it's going to be great to see night games here at Ross State Stadium.
It is, so anything that you have noticed, so I know now this weekend, the Rose Bowl team is back.
Right.
I heard some things, and I heard they might be, leading shout, but you didn't hear that from me.
Oh, insider information from Tommy.
You did. Hey, I
Tommy's got all the
didn't
sources.
say that, but that might happen. As a whole team, how awesome would that be?
I mean,
Bob Greasy back in town?
That's incredible, and that is honestly, at the football games, you see a lot of traditions across the country. And, we have the big drum, and we have shout. And shout is literally one of the most exciting college football traditions that I've been able to be around. Obviously, being a student here, sometimes Drew Brees will come back on one of those bye
Drew
weeks.
Brees comes. That's a big time.
We're hoping for that this year whenever the Saints have their bye week.
You talked about the football game. So what are 2 games? Actually, I'll ask you your favorite homecoming game, and I'll tell you my favorite homecoming game, because my homecoming game is way back in the day.
Yeah, way
So what
back.
about your game? 2011, right? This is it right here.
Yeah, we're gonna look at it here. You see the tape. We're playing for the Cannon. It's a big game for us every single year. Little slip screen there for a touchdown. We had some great players that year, and it's in the Danny Hope era. You got to get a win every single time you go out, and especially on homecoming. We got a couple big runs that game. We don't even wear those kind of jerseys anymore. That's how long it's been. So, getting a win on homecoming is always exciting, especially we talked about the alumni. You want to get a win for the guys coming back, the donators, whatever it may be. You want to get those recruits in here on the homecoming day and get a win. And we're playing a good Iowa team who's always challenging to play in the Big Ten West. So this is going to be good. We got to win 21-14 against a ranked Illinois team that year.
So that's his favorite game. My favorite game, it's going to come back a little bit later in life, or earlier in life, I guess. My game, 1960. You know why, Dakota? We played Minnesota, and we defeated Minnesota. And Minnesota won the national championship that year. And what I think is cool is I actually found video of this game, and I don't think, if I asked you to find video, I don't know if you could. It was tough.
You had to dig really deep into archives.
That's how much I care about this show, is I dig so deep to find this footage. And what happened was the 1960 season, Purdue that year, it went 4-4-1. 3-4 in conference. Minnesota, they only lost 2 games that season. 1 to the Purdue Boilermakers. Look how grainy this footage is. This is perfect. This is homecoming. And you're going to see, a great kind of style that Purdue. Look, they got 3 guys in the backfield.
The option offense. I love it.
I miss this football, man. I've been watching a lot of archive stuff, and this, I wish we would just go
Look at
right
the end
back.
zones.
Exactly.
The striped end zones. No, there's no names in the end zones. Look at this toe bash field goal kick. That's perfect vintage Purdue football.
So Purdue that season, like I said, 4-4-1. Look at that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's genius. So what happened was the Boilermakers were head coached by Jack Mollenkoff. This was in Ross-Ade Stadium. Does it look like Ross-Ade Stadium,
Not
Dakota?
even close. Not even close. It's completely different now after the renovations it's had over the years. It's great.
So this was the second to last game, and the Boilermakers able to win against Minnesota. They got carried off the field. They won the national championship that year in Dakota. That's my favorite homecoming game. Was I alive? No.
No.
But was it awesome? Yes.
My parents weren't even alive then.
I think my mom. No,
Maybe.
I can't say that. You know what I mean? I can't. If my
You
mom's
can't go
like,
there.
I can't let. I don't
You can't
know.
go
My mom.
there.
I don't know if she was born. She probably wasn't. She's like 25, right?
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
like my grandparents' vintage.
No, yeah,
you
for
dug
sure.
deep. You dug
For
deep.
sure.
I love it.
So the Boilermakers, once again, playing host to Iowa. And we have Darrell Hazell. He has a press conference. And
This should be interesting.
it is interesting because I think Darrell Hazell got a lot of scrutiny.
He did.
And I wasn't a fan of it.
These
And
past couple
what
weeks. What
happened was people were coming for his job. Once Les Miles got fired from LSU, people thought it was just an idea that, Les Miles is going to come to Purdue.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. This man is a coach. He's been here for, 3 years now? So
Yeah, this is his 4th season.
exactly. So let him do his job, and we'll play here for you what Darrell Hazell had to say.
Homecoming decorations, a popular and competitive activity between campus residences, went up in spite of the rain. By Sunday, Kappa Sigma's...
You had talked a week ago just about kind of the mood and how, after a loss, everyone's on you. After a win, everybody's for you.
Mm-hmm.
what's the spectrum of emotions been like from last week's blowout to now, an exciting overtime victory?
It's business as usual. I mean, it doesn't change for us inside our walls. I mean, we have a set routine of what we do from the time the game's over till the time we play the next game. And we can't be like this as a staff. We have to prepare the same way regardless of the outcome of the game and make sure we give our guys the best chance we can to be successful. That's our plan.
So your last 2 wins have come right down to the wire. How do you think your team is handling these pressure-packed situations?
I think the next 7 games are going to be exactly the same. I mean, we're going to be in tight battles, 3 minutes left in the game, 2 minutes left, and it was great to see us be able to handle that situation. I mean, that game was crazy, the last 3 minutes of that football game, and we stop them, we get it back. I really feel good about our 2-minute situation that we always work every Wednesday, that we're going to go down and be able to kick a field goal. All of a sudden, we get a deflected pass, it's picked off, and now you got to play defense at midfield. They make a couple first downs and get themselves in the field goal position, and we come up with a big stop there. It was a great effort on that field goal block unit, by the field goal block unit that they missed. Great effort, and then you go down, you make a couple big runs with Richie, and then you kick it in overtime. But I think that's the way it's going to be. I mean, I just really do, and we got to handle all those situations and stay calm and be able to close the game.
There it is right there, Darrell Hazell's press conference before this weekend's game. And what do you got to think about what he said?
Well, first off, you know what I love to see that I noticed there? Coach Hazell's always looking dapper as always. He's smiling during that interview, and that's something you want to see. Of course, it's a intensive job. It's a high-pressure job when you're coaching in the Big Ten. You're a head football coach. But, it's fun. It's supposed to be fun. At the end of the day, it's supposed to be fun for the players, for the coaches, for the fans, and that's what you want to see. And I think a lot of people say that Illinois game we won in overtime saved his job. I don't like thinking like that. It's sort of a glass-half-empty attitude. You want to be glass-half-full in this situation, and Darrell Hazell's doing the best he can. And, like we said on our radio show, that was a great game to come back off of. After a tough loss to Maryland, 50-7. But when you're going into these games, you got to have a positive attitude. We went and won a rivalry game last weekend, and the best part about it is we're playing a sort of a reeling Iowa team who lost to North Dakota State just a couple weekends ago. So this is what we want to see. I mean, there's a good shot.
Don't schedule. I don't understand why people keep scheduling.
That's a bad idea. That's a trap game every year. They could play in the FBS.
No doubt.
But anyway, so like I said, these are games you want to play right now in the middle of the season. It's a grueling schedule in the Big Ten for everybody. So
there's no easy game. I don't care what our record. If we were 0-5 right now and Iowa is coming to Purdue, it's still not an easy game.
It's never an easy game to win on the road, at home. This is really the best football conference in the country. We got three top 10 teams, and luckily we don't have to play Michigan or Ohio State. But
thankful for the reconstruction.
Yeah, reconstruction of the conference went well for us this season. But like I said, these 2 games are very important, and each game in college football, you get a win, you're one step closer to a bowl game. Exactly. Like we said,
we are 3 wins away right now from a bowl game.
From guaranteeing ourselves a bowl game, and some 5-win teams in the FBS now get into a bowl game, which is great for the school. It brings money in, it gives more pride for the fans and the alumni. So let's get a win here on homecoming, and that's going to be a good goal for us.
So Darrell Hazell, like we just showed you the press conference, we reacted. Now we're going to transition a little bit to another sport here. They played a game last night. They won against Maryland. It's the Purdue soccer team. So the Boilermakers took down Maryland 1-0 on a goal from Daniel Williams. But earlier in the season, I sat down with Andrea Petrina, somebody from Canada, north of the border, came all the way to Purdue to play soccer, and I sat down with her to talk about kind of her expectations for the season. It didn't go exactly the way, but this is what Andrea Petrina had to say when I sat down with her.
The 2016 season is underway for the Purdue women's soccer team, and a familiar face has stepped up for the Boilermakers. Andrea Petrina has 2 goals and an assist through 4 games, but this season isn't any different for the junior forward.
I'm not particularly doing anything different. I just think I have a better mindset this year. Preparing in the summer and staying here for summer and training extra with Wally and extra teammates really helped that, and going to pickup sessions and working hard. And basically my main thing was to get fit. So this year was one of my main focuses, to get fit this year and better than last year. So far it's working.
With all of the early season success, Patrina has created more confidence in herself. Into the net, tied up 1-1, Boilermakers find their equalizer from Andrea Patrina.
Definitely more confidence each game of practice and with feedback from coaches and teammates as well. But I wouldn't say too confident, but I'd say that I feel more comfortable, definitely. I'm more out of my comfort zone, and I'm doing things different than I did last year and the year before, so I feel a lot better about that.
Not only is Patrina looking to continue on her great season, but the Boilermakers are looking to get back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2009.
One of our main focuses and goals are making it to postseason initially. I feel like we deserved it starting from preseason, and hopefully we go into season with that same mindset. We want to make it to postseason. We want to show what we can do. We have a winning culture. We don't want to be doubted anymore. I think that having that winning culture and those attitudes is going to help us to the postseason.
So that is when I sat down with Andrea Patrina.
Tom, I got to ask, what was your favorite part about doing that package with Andrea?
There's a lot of things that I don't think a lot of people would know unless I told you right now about this package. So I think I'm going to do 3 things. Number 1, Dan Gray, our producer, obviously one of the key pieces to make all this happen, sitting up there right now. He was shooting. He was the guy on the camera because I was broadcasting the game. And Dakota, I'm going to tell you something. So Dan shot the first half of that game, right?
Yep.
Andrea, she played great. Second half, Dan Gray not there, no camera on her.
Oh no.
She scores a goal.
Oh. Really? So
she scored a penalty kick goal. So, the one game I decided to do a feature on Andrea Patrina.
So Dan leaves.
Dan leaves, she scores a goal.
Dan ruined it. It's Dan's fault.
Second thing is, Connor and I, we go and do the interview, right? And I'm trying to do the camera. And we had to balance the camera on the tripod because it didn't have a little thing to hook it in. So we had to, I don't even know how. Connor, how did we do that? We should get an Emmy for that because it stayed straight. I don't know how. So, but other than that, I think the interview went well. I think, Andrea Patrina and the rest of the Purdue Boilermakers this season, they didn't have the season they wanted. It's, later in the season, they only have the 3 matches left. And the Boilermakers are 4-10 on the season, 2-6 in Big Ten play. They were tied for last with Maryland and Iowa before last game. And what's tough is when you lose Hannah Leinert for a few games, you lose Maddie Williams for a whole season, it's 17, 15 goals last season just alone. I mean, Maddie has 24 and Hannah has 9 since she stepped on campus here. I mean, you can do the math.
Right.
Purdue's only scored, I think, 11 goals this season.
Right, and that's something we're going to talk about later in the show with other sports too. You can't replace injuries.
You can't. And so the Boilermakers this season, not that well. They didn't go so well after first year head coach Drew Roth last season took them to 500, above 500 for the first time since 2009. That was the last time they got into the NCAA tournament. So this year a little bit of a setback, but they have a lot of young players. They have a lot of people that can come in next year, come in the year after that, and really stand out. And really, they have experience now because they're such a young team because of the injuries that they have this season. So what happens is I think you learn a lot from this year. I think you say, bye seniors, you had a great 4 years here. We didn't do exactly what we wanted to, but this season's not over.
No.
I mean, they can win the rest. They can win out and maybe get to 6-6 in Big Ten play, and then hopefully get some help and get into the Big Ten tournament. So I'm a very optimistic person. They're going up against Penn State on Sunday. Penn State won the national championship last season, so
dicey.
That's a good word for that situation.
Yeah.
So you never know. If they can play to their strengths, they can do it. So
you never know. Yeah, it's kind of like the NCAA tournament. Once you sneak in.
Did we see Arkansas Pine Bluff beating Purdue? No.
Yeah. Stuff like that happens. You sneak into your conference tournament. You win your conference tournament. Who knows what happens?
Boom. National championship.
You can do it.
Is that what we're saying?
Can it happen?
Now what we're saying is we're gonna get next into an interview we did with Morgan Burke. But do you have anything else to say about the new soccer stadium or the soccer season. Did you go to any games this year?
I haven't been to any soccer games this season.
We got 2 left. You better get out there against Indiana. Going for the Golden Boot.
I think I might go to the one against Indiana. You know, the soccer facility is something to look at. All of the sports facilities out there off campus, baseball, softball, soccer, tennis, are state-of-the-art facilities. And, you know, that's what I like. You always like going to games where the facilities are nice. It's good viewpoints from the stands to watch the games.
I actually love. We have what 4 facilities out there? 3,
I believe so.
4, yeah, with the tennis.
With tennis.
I think the baseball stadium is my favorite place to go.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I love that stadium.
Yeah.
Especially being up in the press box and I've actually sat in a game from a suite, and I really enjoyed it up there too. I know. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. I try to get a seat from everywhere.
Right, and you know you don't see that at a lot of Division I places. Previously at Purdue, we had our baseball field was on the campus, and now that's a parking lot.
That was
not the greatest facility.
Same with the softball.
Same with softball. So they've torn those down now. We've gotten new facilities. They've been around for I believe 4 years now. 2012, I believe. Since we got here. So you know you don't see that even in the Big Ten. You don't see a lot of that. So schools are constantly upgrading and renovating their sports facilities, and that's what you want to see. We have state-of-the-art facilities here at Purdue.
And what's funny is you talked about updating the facilities. Well, we just updated at AD too. We have a new athletic director. It used to be Morgan Burke, and now it's Mike Babinski. And that's something Mike Babinski has to take advantage of and see Purdue in the next 15, 20 years. What is his legacy going to be? But before Mike Babinski, we thought it would be a good idea to talk to Morgan Burke and talk to him. He was the longest tenured AD in the Big Ten for a while. Until he retired, he was the longest term AD. So we wanted to talk to him about homecoming. What his favorite thing was, he used to swim here, so he's been here. He's been a Purdue guy since the '60s. Morgan Burke is the guy. So we sat down with Morgan Burke and let's see exactly what he had to say about homecoming, being the AD, and everything else in between.
It was about family. It was about the generations. And you might sit at a tailgate and somebody be talking who's graduated in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and they're all talking about memories they had here, and they all connect back. And it might be running through the fountains or doing something that you say, well, I did that too when I was a student. And when you think about it, because we don't have a state name, Purdue doesn't have a state name. People forget we're 40,000, and I think the living alumni count is north of 450,000. So it's a big footprint that tends to disseminate itself around the United States and, in fact, around the globe. Wherever you go, that motion P. If I show up at an airport, they know that's not the Pirates or Pittsburgh. They know it's Purdue.
So what about maybe moving on? Do you have any advice for the new AD Mike Babinski for his homecoming? Is there any?
I think he's
kind of different.
Everybody's different. I think he's an experienced guy. This transition was really important to me. I went to Mitch basically in the summer of 15, and I said, when we get into 16 here during the school year, I'm about 18 months out, and it doesn't mean that there won't be change. There will be. But you want change to be accomplished after a comprehensive understanding of what's going on today. And when I first came, it took me a year to really figure out what they were doing. Now, he's an experienced guy. He's not going to have any problem, but I think being an experienced guy, he can look at some of the things that are being done inside the department and say, that's pretty good. Let's continue those. Make the changes where the changes will improve athletic and academic performance. Don't change things that are working for you. And I think this process that we've laid out will allow me to work with him primarily through the balance of this semester, and then I'll start sliding away. As I tell everybody, he does all the work, and I just go to the games.
Morgan Burke.
Yeah.
What do you think about him?
Well, I think he was a great athletic director, and I think it's a classy move. He's going to be staying here until next summer to help Babinski with the process. Obviously, Babinski at Georgia Tech previously, he's a very experienced athletic director. But, transitioning to a new school when you're not familiar, it's great that Morgan Burke's going to help him out. He got the facilities that he wanted implemented with the new football facilities. Obviously, he did baseball, softball, other things like that. So, this is going to be really good when Morgan Burke is helping out Bobinski. Maybe he needs you never know, maybe he needs a restaurant to go to. Help his family out.
Hell, the guy's been here since the 60s.
Yeah, so he's been the athletic director 20-plus seasons. He knows where to go around here. He knows the resources to tap into. And if Mike Bobinski is able to get into those resources, I think he's going to have a head start on any other new athletic director in the country. And it's going to help him catch up to these athletic directors that have already been in the Big Ten for a long time. So that's great that he's helping out Mike Bobinski for the future.
Yeah, no doubt. So Morgan Burke, to me, was somebody who took from Purdue from, I'd say, down here to up here. Morgan Burke was somebody who really, it's tough because a lot of people aren't fans of him. But to me, Morgan Burke was somebody to bridge the gap from old Boilers to new Boilers. So he has been here since forever.
Yeah.
So he can relate to, Lambert Fieldhouse. He can relate to Mackey Arena, the beginnings of these. He can relate to good football. He can relate to bad football. It's anything, and if you want a story, I think Morgan Burke's the guy to go to because he's one of the longest tenured guys ever at this university. I mean, I'm sure there's some professors on tenure here that are beating him out in years, but Morgan Burke he's the guy. When it comes to Purdue athletics, Morgan Burke has been set in stone since the day he stepped on campus. And you saw in the interview, you saw some pictures. He had some nice hair back in the day.
It looked good. And that's the thing I've been looking at. A lot of fans from across the country or, Purdue fans, graduates, whatever it may be, are looking at the bad things that happen. The football team.
It's easy to talk about bad things.
It's easy to point that out. When things are going good, everyone's rah-rah. They're front runners. They're out there when everything's going good, but then they're bashing our sports program when things are going bad. The football season and program as a whole has maybe taken a decline in recent years. Everyone wants to point the finger at Morgan Burke.
And what happened with basketball? When we stepped on campus, the team wasn't very good.
And, the point I wanted to make is who's the athletic director when Drew Brees was here when we made the Rose Bowl? Morgan Burke.
Boom.
So, you know what I'm saying? You can't always drop.
Mic drop. That's what Connor said.
Exactly. So you can't always point the blame at the athletic director or this person or that person. It's a collective whole that needs to come together and make things right. And that's a big deal here. And that's one of the things I love talking about Morgan Burke is he's always one of those guys. He comes to all the events. He's at swimming and diving. He's at golf. He's at whatever it may be, rowing. Just any sport that matters here at Purdue. He comes to club events sometimes. And the biggest thing.
He watched me play intramural basketball
exactly.
one time.
So he's all in on Purdue. Not just Purdue athletics, but Purdue as a school. And he's always one of those guys that'll come up, he doesn't know you, he'll put his hand on your shoulder and say, hey, how you doing? Are you enjoying your experience here at Purdue or at whatever game you may be at, big, small? We could be playing Southeast Oklahoma State in basketball for an exhibition game.
Watch out for Southeast Oklahoma State, though.
He will be there.
Solid squad.
He's always there. So, Morgan Burke, a class act through and through for the Boilermakers and for the Big Ten Conference. And he's going to be hard to replace, but like we said, Mike Bobinski is going to do great.
You talked about basketball. Let's talk about basketball, Dakota, because, I'm starting to get emotional. I'm getting emotional.
It's excitement.
It's not even just for Purdue. It's just for basketball in total. Because the Pacers start their season. I'm a huge Pacer guy.
Same
I think
here.
we'll have a good year. I'm a huge Purdue guy now. I've been here for 4 years. I wasn't a Purdue guy before I got here. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, you were a Dookie before.
I'm still a Dookie, and they're number one this season. But
I'll
keep that for another show. Maybe we'll have a special. I don't know. But Purdue will be good this year. I will guarantee you. And they will be good because of Matt Painter. And they will be good because of Matt Painter and the recruiting class that he has done in the last 3 years. That brought Vince Edwards, Isaac Haas, Dakota Mathias, Ryan Klein, Caleb Swanigan, Carson Edwards. That last 3 years, those are the three players. Those are the players that he brought into this program. They are now the limelight of the situation. They have responsibility. The seniors, a lot of them left. And for whatever reason, that happened. You got Basil coming back after redshirting. You lose Rafael Davis. You lose A.J. Hammonds. A.J., great guy, in the league now. So proud. But what do you do now? We just had media day. We just saw Matt Painter say, all right, let's get Spike Aubrey on the squad. Let's get him and bring some experience back in. What do you do? What do you think for this season?
That's the biggest thing. And what I love about our recruits is that these aren't guys that traditional powers are looking at. Kentucky aren't looking at our recruits. Duke's not looking at our recruits.
Well, with Biggie, yeah, but everybody else.
Yeah, Biggie was the biggest recruit since Glenn Robinson here at Purdue, the first 5-star guy in over 20 years that Purdue's gotten. So with the exception of him, Purdue basketball gets guys that are high in character, they're good in the classroom with their academics, and they're exceptional basketball players, smart basketball players on the court. You look at Dakota Mathias, one of the smartest players in the country, great at passing the ball, a shooter. You look at these guys, and they all mesh well together, and I think that makes the job easier on Matt Painter, honestly, who's one of the best game managers that you're going to find in the country, let alone the Big Ten. And there's a reason we talked about on the radio show that he just signed a big contract extension, which is going to help recruits from the 2018 class. It guarantees that Matt Painter will be here.
That's the big thing. When you have confidence that your coach will be here, that's what happens. So, all right, we're going to start it. We're going to do a few things with the basketball season. Who's your player to watch this season? And I'm not going to allow you to say Caleb Swanigan or Vince Edwards because everybody knows those are the two biggest players of this season. If we play well this year, it's because of those two guys.
Right, so you're talking about Purdue basketball, the biggest player for Purdue basketball. I think I got to go with Carson Edwards. He's a freshman. Obviously, he hasn't had a chance to prove himself in game action yet, but he led his high school in Texas to the number 5 ranking nationally, and it wasn't a prep school, it wasn't a private school. So this is a public school where guys from the district are playing. Carson Edwards was the leading scorer, the leading assist man on their high school team. From what I've seen, you see tapes from Chris Foreman, the SID, on the practices and things.
Give a shout out to Chris. I'm about to let him know we shout him out.
And, he's got a lot of great information on Carson, obviously. And I think the Edwards guys, the Edwards bros, we can call them this season, Carson and Vince, or Vincent he likes to be called now, are going to just take over the season. But Carson Edwards, he can shoot, he can get the ball up the court. We don't need to worry about the press anymore, in my opinion, like we did last year against teams like Iowa. He will get the job done at the point. I'm not saying he has to start right away. Yeah. Maybe he needs to learn from a fifth-year senior, Spike Albrecht, who's played in the national championship game, scored a lot of points against Louisville.
And talking to Kate Upton.
Oh, the tweet. The legendary tweet to Kate Upton. But yes, my guy to watch is Carson Edwards.
Okay, my guy is P.J. Thompson. P.J. Thompson, somebody who, a lot of people weren't a big fan of, but then he started knocking down threes. And did you see his stats when he was in Spain this year?
He looked good.
He shot the ball excellent from behind the arc. I believe he was like 80% or something like that. So P.J. Thompson is somebody who's, he's rivaling your pick with Carson Edwards. So I think it adds something more here too. And you bring in Spike Albrecht, you got three eligible point guards to start for this Purdue team. And this is a position that has kind of struggled, especially breaking that press last year. How is PJ going to respond with Carson coming in, with Spike coming in? Does that mean he adds some pressure to PJ? Maybe. Maybe does that light him up, fire him up a little bit? Probably. So I think PJ is kind of that X factor for me. What's your biggest non-conference game? And I'm not going to let you pick Villanova.
Oh, come on, man.
I can't let you pick Villanova. Everybody knows it.
Yeah, but there's got to be an exception here. We're playing the defending national champion.
At home.
At home in Mackey Arena. I got to talk about it.
Okay.
I got to break the rules.
You know what? I'll let you do it.
I got to break the rules here. I got to talk about it. We're playing guys that have come back. Chris Jenkins hit probably one of the most famous basketball shots now in the history of college basketball, or basketball as a whole. And, that's going to be a big game. You got guys like Biggie, who 8 double-doubles last season. I think he's going to be a machine this year. And Ochefu left Villanova for the NBA. He graduated. They lost Ryan Arcidiacono as well. So if you get him inside along with Isaac, I think they're going to be able to take over.
You think we'll beat Villanova?
I think we can beat Villanova.
Wow.
I think that's a hot take right off the bat here. But I think we can beat Villanova by 3-4 points maybe. Equaling out in Mackey Arena, the crowd's going to be behind us. I believe the game's already sold out. As soon as it was announced, I'm pretty sure the game was already sold out. It's kind of like an IU game here on campus at Mackey Arena. So I had to break the rules a little bit. You're going to see a huge game out of our guys against Villanova, and that's easily the best non-conference game that we'll have this season.
I like Louisville. We go at Louisville.
Okay. Yep.
That's the Yum Center. That's in front of Patino. That's a big game. ACC Big Ten Challenge. We dominating that. I don't care about the Crossroads. Let them. That's fine. We dominated the ACC Big Ten Challenge because I think the ACC is the other conference that is rivaling. I can't say that word.
Rivalry.
Rivalry?
I don't know if that's a word.
It rivals the Big Ten, ACC and the Big Ten. Those are the two best conferences. I don't care what anybody says. Kentucky owns the SEC. It's literally, SEC is Kentucky. Okay, fine. Pac-12, nobody. Now, the Big Ten ACC, that produces national champions. That produces Final Fours. And Purdue, dominant.
Dominant in the Big Ten ACC town.
So can they go to Louisville and get a win? I don't know.
I
but
think they
will
can.
they? I think they will.
You know, and I had half a mind to even drive down to Louisville. It's not that far of a drive. 3 hours. You get to play in front of 20,000 at the Yum Center, one of the biggest stadiums in the country.
I'm thinking about it.
You know, in the recent
exact
years.
date, 11:30.
There it is.
Right there.
I think it's on a Wednesday night or something like that.
You know what? I'll be there. You know, hey, let's go.
Let's go.
Right here.
Purdue Package. We're going to be at the Louisville Purdue game.
All 4 of us.
We got to go.
I don't do exams, so it's fine.
That's what I'm saying, though. You know, you get games like Pittsburgh. We won last season. We beat NC State. I believe that was our freshman year, I believe. Mm-hmm. So we've played some quality teams in the ACC.
No, Pittsburgh was last year.
Yeah, Pittsburgh was last year. NC State was, I believe, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So doing these games against high-quality opponents is going to be something that really hypes up our season in the non-conference, and we've obviously done well in that tournament. I guess you could say the Big Ten's won the past couple of years. Matt Painter knows how to coach against quality coaches. Pitino, Hall of Fame coach, legendary coach, and we're going to be really hyped up for that game. I think even the paint crew can get tickets to that game for a little section in the Yum Center, which is tough to get a seat in the Yum Center for Louisville basketball games. So we're ready to go for this basketball season. It's going to be a quality one.
So what about the Big Ten as a whole? Give me your top 3 teams and your bottom 3 teams. We're going to call this 3 up, 3 down.
All right, top 3 teams. This is going to be tough because a lot of guys have 4 groups at the top. A lot of national guys, Jeff Goodman. They got IU, Purdue, Wisconsin, Michigan State at the top. I'm going to take IU off of that list because of their inexperience in some areas.
Yeah, he is.
You got to go with Michigan State. Whenever you have Tom Izzo as a coach, you can never count the Spartans out. I don't care what year it is, what recruits he has, you can never count them out. Greg Gard, this is going to be interesting. His first full year with the Badgers, he was 14 years the top assistant coach for Bo Ryan at Wisconsin. They've been to the Final Four the past couple seasons. Elite 8 last year under Greg Gard. Everyone's talking about Nigel Hayes and Bronson Koenig, 2 very experienced seniors.
Yeah, Nigel Hayes is preseason Big Ten player, unanimous.
Unanimous Big Ten player of the year, averaged 15 points a game last season, nearly 10 rebounds. One of the only double-double, basically, bets that you can bet on in the Big Ten. But look out for Ethan Happ. He won the 2015 Big Ten Freshman of the Year award. He had 10 double-doubles last season. That's more than Biggie. The guy came out of nowhere. And, you know, it's like Wisconsin is producing these centers that come out of nowhere. Frank Kaminsky averaged 2 points his freshman year, National Player of the Year his senior year. Ethan Happ is nearly averaging...
Something's in the water up there, man.
Something's in the water. Ethan Happ's nearly averaging 10 and 10 a game for the Badgers last season, and that's as a freshman. So watch out for him.
So take IU off the list.
Take IU off the list. Purdue,
Wisconsin, Michigan State. Now give me your bottom 3.
Well, I'm going to just start off with Rutgers. They didn't win a single game in the Big Ten. They didn't win a single game in the Big Ten last season. They won 7 games all season long. That's a pretty easy choice. You look at Northwestern, they've had injuries in the past. It's tough to win in the Big Ten Conference when your academic standards are that high. You're trying to get good recruits in there. It's a great school, but their basketball program has been dropping off in recent seasons, so they'll probably be down there in that bottom 3. And you look at Minnesota, that's a tough program. Pitino's son, Richard Pitino, has been the head coach there for the past couple seasons. He struggled last season. So look for him to try to make a bounce back. I still think they're in the bottom 3 of the conference at the end of this season. You know, you never know, though. With the Big Ten, you never know what can happen.
What were your 3 again?
My bottom 3 are Minnesota, Northwestern, and Rutgers. Rutgers is the only lock to be in the bottom 3, in my opinion.
Okay, here's the thing. I like Northwestern. I don't know what it is. I think Northwestern has the capability this season to be better than what you think. I think, in my opinion, Northwestern slides up, and I think they move to maybe the middle to upper part of the conference.
So who are you going to put in your bottom 3 with Rutgers? You got Minnesota down there as well?
Yeah, I got Minnesota down there.
Okay.
Here's my thing. It's tough to make the call right now because I think you can guarantee 2 teams at the bottom. Yeah. I don't know if you can guarantee 3 teams because I think the top, like you said, is going to be Michigan State. It's going to be us. We're going to be very good. We're going to be a good team.
Yep.
It's going to be Michigan State, Purdue. I got to go Indiana. I don't know why. I think they're going to be overrated. They're going to lose in the first round of the tournament. And you heard it right now. What is day? October 14th at 4:54 p.m. Indiana will lose in the first round of the tournament.
I like that prediction.
And then Wisconsin. Those 4 teams are tough. And I like Jeff Goodman. I read his stuff all the time. But I think somebody that you got to look out for This season, Michigan. Michigan's a good team.
I like that prediction. You know that
I think
Jordan, they're under Jordan Brand right now.
I know.
There's just some sort of greatness that's overshadowing Ann Arbor right now with their football program.
It started with Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh comes in. I just feel like that's just going to go everywhere to Beeline, all over the campus.
It's something when one team is good, the next team is good. And then everybody else just picks up their standards and they pick up being good. And look what happened with Rutgers. I mean, not to pick on Rutgers. I love Rutgers University, Piscataway, great people. I love people that go there. But what happened was you got a bad team and everything else is bad. It just happens.
That's the way it works.
And once you're bad for a while. In college sports, you can't just pick it up.
It's tough to recover from. It really is.
But once you pick it up, like Purdue did in basketball, the train doesn't stop.
I think
doesn't stop.
Literally, the train doesn't stop in West Lafayette.
So
I think that's what's going to happen.
So here we are. We're done talking about basketball.
Okay, basketball's over.
It's sad, but we got to go back to football because it's homecoming. There's no basketball this weekend. I know it's unfortunate. You can watch the preseason NBA games. I'll probably do that. But so, take me back to Illinois. It's very tough to say, wow, we didn't deserve to win, but we won. 34-31.
We got the job done. You can't help when other teams clank field goals off the upright.
You can't. We actually have the highlights for you. We'll play them right now, and we'll play them for you and see what you think. We'll come back. We'll talk about it.
Now right to the 10. Wes Lunt warming up. Wes Lunt would not be a big factor in this one, and we'll show you why right now. About 8 minutes to play in the second quarter. Purdue up 14-6, and Lunt gets absolutely drilled after the throw. Roughing the passer would be called, but the bad news for Illinois is that even though they get the 15 yards, they lose their quarterback. So that means that Chase Crouch comes in, known mainly as a running quarterback. Purdue apparently didn't know it. He goes 26 yards, and the Illini are within 1. 3 minutes to play in the half. David Blau to Malik Kimbrough, and sometimes that wide receiver screen is the best play you can dial up. Blau goes 22 of 35 for 220. Purdue's lead up to 8. Third quarter, now a 5-point game. Who said Chase Crouch is a running quarterback? Just get the good bounce. How about Malik Turner with the concentration? 9 catches, 129 yards for Turner, and that sets up Crouch. 17 carries and a $137 in relief on the ground. Illini up by 2. Purdue now down by 7. Richie Worship. How about these teams combining for 546 rush yards? Fourth quarter, 3 seconds left. Darrell Hazell calls not 1, not 2, but 3 timeouts to ice Chase McLaughlin, and guess what?
It works.
If you only call 2 timeouts, that probably hooks inside and the game's over. Instead, we are headed to overtime. He got some elevation there.
I like it.
In OT, Crouch had a huge game, but he puts it on the carpet. Purdue recovers, and now any Purdue score wins the game for Darrell Hazell. J.D. Dillinger, ball game 34-31.
Special teams player of the
There
week
it
in the
is.
Big Ten, J.D. Dellinger kicking it through the uprights, and the Boilermakers go crazy and take the trophy. What else could you expect?
And you know what? The best thing I saw, I don't know if we had any highlight.
Are you talking about the heel click?
No. I wasn't going to heel click.
No, that heel click was pretty.
I wasn't going to heel click, but I was going to the reaction from Darrell Hazell. He took a knee, took his headset off, kneeled down as if a weight was lifted off his shoulders. We got the cannon back. That's the second time he's beat Illinois now, and he's only got 3 Big Ten wins. So beating Illinois seems to be going all right for Coach Hazell, but that's the best thing I saw. I thought it was a special moment for him and the players. You saw the celebration in the locker room. It was great.
So here's the thing. We beat Illinois last week. Illinois not
the greatest.
Not the best team in the Big Ten. We're not the best team either.
No.
We got the W. Second time we beat Illinois. Since I've been here.
Tough teams, like I like to say, tough teams find a way to win when the odds are stacked against you.
Here's the thing, though.
It takes a little bit of luck.
Here's the thing. Are we going to beat Iowa now? Do we have momentum from Illinois to bring it into homecoming and beat Iowa?
That's the test. We thought this thing could happen a couple of years. Our sophomore year when we beat Illinois, we thought, hey, maybe we got some mojo going, we got some momentum, let's win some games. But that's the telltale story is if we can win a game and then stack some wins together, get 5 wins, get 6 wins, get a bowl game, That's going to be the sign.
You're really hung up on that 5 wins.
I think
you are so hung up.
Look,
every time I talk to you, it's like, hey, we only need 5 wins to get to a bowl game. Dakota, I've seen like 2 teams get in
5 and 7.
That's not a thing.
Yeah, it is
like,
a thing.
Like, there's like 1 or 2 bowl games maybe.
If it
with
happens,
5 wins.
If it happens this season,
we need to get 6 wins.
Okay, we need
and
6.
And we will get 6 wins.
We need 6, but my prediction at the beginning of the season on Purdue Package Radio Show, these guys can know. These guys know. 5 and 7 was my prediction. We're going to go to a bowl like the Little Caesars Pizza Bowl. It's going to be a miracle. We're going to win. We'll play a MAC team. We'll play Central Michigan. We'll play Western Michigan, who is ranked and undefeated right now, by the way, which is amazing. We'll play them. We'll beat them. We'll get a trophy. Darrell Hazell will be happy. Life's good. That's my prediction.
That's his prediction, right?
5 and 7 can get you a bowl game.
Now, you got that prediction for the season.
Yeah.
What about the prediction for this week?
This week against Iowa.
The Hawkeyes, the team that was in the Rose Bowl last season.
The Rose Bowl.
They have taken the biggest roller coaster.
Oh,
it's
man.
Playing Christian McCaffrey, and then, boom.
It's like Christian McCaffrey ended their
We got them
season.
in a nice spot right now.
Give
me your prediction.
My prediction, I'm going to go 28 Purdue.
Okay.
27 Iowa.
Whoa.
1-point win.
Connor Hoke, where are you at? Like, Connor Hoke, he needs to hear this for sure because Connor Hoke does not believe you. He thinks you think Iowa is really going to win, but you're just saying it for the camera.
You know what? No, I'm not saying it for the camera. You know, I said it before. I thought Iowa might win. I've had kind of a change of pace now. I feel this mojo that we were just talking about.
You're feeling
I feel the mojo. Connor, Tommy, you're always on the Boilermakers. Let's get a win. Let's get a win and head in to the tough part of our schedule. It's going to happen.
You want to know what I think?
Don't call a blowout now. Or are you calling a blowout Purdue blowout? Purdue wins in a blowout.
Why would I do that?
I don't know.
I've been here 4 years.
4 years.
You've been here 4
Yeah,
years.
we know well enough.
We have seen enough games where I can't tell you that we're going to blow a team out. But what I can tell you is we're 3-2 on the season. We're going to go to 4-2 on the season. Purdue football will beat Iowa's football team with a score of, let me think. What's the odds? What's the line? Do you know?
I haven't seen the line yet.
I'm not a betting man.
Yeah.
24-13.
24-13. I like it. We'll take an 11-point win against a quality Iowa team. I know they're slipping, but
you know why?
they're quality.
I think our defense really steps it up this week. I think Jalen Robinson gets 2 sacks. I think, Jake Rapogel.
How about a pick?
Jake Rapogel having a season.
Wait, he's having a spectacular season. He's one of the few guys that you see on our team right now, NFL.
Yeah.
You can point at him, you're going to the NFL. So, we talk about this.
Getting Markel Jones back.
We need him back healthy. We need him back healthy to get the season going. We had running back by committee last week. We had 2-3 guys running the football. So what we're going to need, though, I want to see a pick from the secondary. I need to see that. DeJuan Hunt, I want to see a pick from him.
Are you calling a DeJuan Hunt interception? Is that what I'm hearing right now?
I think so. I think I'll call a DeJuan Hunt interception.
So here's what I think.
He's going to read the quarterback's eyes, step in front, maybe a pick 6 even.
Here's what I think. I think we come up big on special teams. I don't know where. It might be in the punt game. It might be in the kicking game. It might be in the field goal game. We might just do it.
All 3 phases. You got to win in all 3 phases.
And I think we'll get the win 24-13. Darrell Hazell, we're going to get a question from him right here. Darrell Hazell.
Let's hear it.
Teams, for whatever reason, that's everywhere in the country, not just our place, obviously. But, it certainly has an added meaning to it being homecoming. Just studying their ends, it's a little bit different creature than it was last week, with 91 and 6, but they're good players, really good players, but different types of players. But we have to make sure we start with one, running the football, being able to run the ball, but also being able to protect the passer. I've been able to play them since 2004, and they haven't changed. They're really, really sound. They got a really good offense. The offensive line is really good, I think, blocking the zone, the lead zone, the split zone. They're doing a good job, more so this year, running power. They don't turn it over. And then they play their shell defense. They play their 2-cover shell defense, and everybody knows where they're supposed to be, and that's why they're so consistent.
4 receivers in the game.
Darrell Hazell, what does it mean for homecoming? It's an added meaning. Everything is more important on homecoming. And you'll hear that when we talk to Dave Shondell as well. That was a good interview. We'll tease you that for you. It's an added meaning. It means more because more people are going to be here that, maybe are skeptical on this season, and I think they're going to see a good for Purdue football team this weekend. And you heard it, the direct quote was, we've seen this team since 2004. They haven't changed. I could tell you before any game that Iowa plays, they're big. They got big guys up front, always. They got a good run game. They're going to pound it down your throat.
Yep.
And they're going to blitz the quarterback. Yep. They're going to get to you.
Yeah.
If you could beat that, there you go. You figure a way to beat that, Darrell Hazell.
Yeah.
You get to 4 wins.
And that's a big key. We were talking earlier, Bernard King in the secondary, number 14, you'll see him a lot. Led the nation in interceptions last year. I think he had 8 or 9 interceptions the entire season. Won the award for the best defensive back in the country at the college football award ceremony. So if you're avoiding these sacks, if you're David Blau, and you're able to keep the ball away from their secondary, which is a plus secondary in the Big Ten, especially in the Big Ten West, then you're doing something right. So if you're doing that, getting the ball down the field, maybe with a run game. If they're rushing the quarterback, guys are going to overcommit. The defensive ends and tackles are going to overcommit rushing the quarterback, maybe throw a little draw play in there. And the secondary is going to be wide open to run in. So, we ran a lot last week. We had running back by committee. If Markell Jones steps up after his injury this season, hopefully gets back in his groove, I think it's going to be a big plus for Purdue heading into this homecoming weekend.
So remember, 24-13, and what'd you say again?
28-27, Purdue.
Write it down, take a picture, tweet it out, put it on Facebook, do something. Purdue Package thinks the Boilermakers are going to take down the Hawkeyes this weekend. And Purdue, the football team, not the only team that's in action this week. The Boilermaker volleyball program also playing. They play Friday night, they play Saturday night. Big match against Penn State. So what we did, Connor and I, we sat down with Dave Shondell. We talked to him about homecoming. We talked to him about the season. So this is what Dave Shondell had to talk about with the Purdue volleyball team this season.
You have to keep your people focused. You have to keep them believing. You have to have your athletes come into the gym and with some energy and enthusiasm and have a real short memory. If you have a long memory in this league, you're going to be miserable a lot of the time. And life's too short, especially at my age. Life's too short to be miserable very long. So I've chose to try to be positive and not let things bother me, maybe like they would have before, and not let it make my team miserable. It's not fair to them to be miserable over if they're giving their best effort. And I don't fault our effort. We're not going out and not prepared. We're prepared to play, but when we got really hot and we had the big wins, and then we ran into Illinois, who was really hungry. They'd been on the opposite end of the spectrum. They were getting beat, and yet they were a really good team, and it was just the timing. They had enough, and they came into our place and beat us in that 5-game match. And then we ran into some really good teams. Of course, we beat Indiana in front of 10,000 people. That was fun. But then all of a sudden you get Wisconsin, you get Minnesota, you get Nebraska, Iowa thrown in there on the road, another 5-game loss. And so it's going to be really important that we really try to maintain a lot of positivity and focus on the things that we can focus on and that we can control. 14 years ago, the Big Ten might have been the 4th or 5th best conference in the country. Now, it's the dominant conference in America in the sport of volleyball. That's the positive side of it. The negative side of it is that for the 10 weeks of the Big Ten season, you get no sleep. It's a grind. You've got to prepare for 2 teams a week that are all capable of beating you. There's just a lot that goes on. And the key is just, moving forward each time, turning the page. Whether you win or lose, you turn the page. Example, this isn't Big Ten, but how fast you have to turn the page. We took our young team to Palo Alto, upset Stanford, who's one of the traditional powerhouses in the country, celebrated for all of about 30 minutes, and then had to get ready to play Cal Poly the next day at 4 in the afternoon. And that's one of the things that's unfortunate about college athletics, at least with the schedule we have. You can't really appreciate those great moments unless they're at the national championship. But we try to find ways to do that. I think that you've got to allow your team to enjoy what they're doing. It's always great to play at home, but when you have home events during the weekend or the week of homecoming, it means more. And you use that more to your team. You let them know that a lot of people coming back to watch you guys play. This is going to be maybe the highlight of their weekend, to come in here and watch Purdue play Penn State. And, what are you going to do? Are you going to be prepared to go? This is a winnable match for us. We match up with this team. I mean, they're a young team also. Two young and talented teams getting together, one team flying high, one team finding out what they're made out of. Okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to respond to this? What are you going to do for your 2,500 people that have come out to watch you play?
Homecoming?
I think for me with homecoming, it's some of those very first players that we coached at Purdue. When we came in here, and Purdue was the worst program in the Big Ten. They'd won 3 matches in 2 years in the Big Ten, and yet we had some players on that team and some early recruits that decided enough was enough, and they dedicated themselves to this program to make it better. So when they come back, it's a great thing. And so, when we think about who we're going to win for, who we're going to play for, what is homecoming about? Not about us, okay? It's about Carol Dewey's teams, okay, that built this program and got things started. It's about those early teams that I had back in 2003, 2004, 2005 that got this ball rolling. So now we're playing in front of a sellout crowd every night that we step on the floor. And we have elite facilities because of what those people did, not by what anything our current players did. This was all built by other people. What are you going to do? How are you going to say thanks? And so for homecoming, those are the people that I look forward to. Those are the people I think of. We have an alumni match. We do some different things with our alumni, but so many have made great sacrifices and done incredible things to get our volleyball program to where it is now. And now it's our responsibility to carry on that tradition.
So Dave Shondell, once again, we sat down yesterday with him, and that was a fun interview to do because Dave Shondell is one of the guys here at Purdue, has been here for 14 years. He took a program that was last in the Big Ten to a national powerhouse in volleyball. And Dave Shondell has been here through a lot of homecomings. He's seen a lot of things, and I mean, he talks later to us. He said, he remembers games where we should have won. And homecoming is special because he told us, he said, homecoming means more, just like, Darrell Hazell said, because more people will be there watching your team. People who haven't seen your team play at all, maybe haven't seen your team play in 10 years, but decided to come back for 2016 homecoming to see you take on Penn State, the number 10 team in the nation. You got to step your game up. You got to play well. And in the Big Ten with 9 teams ranked in the top 25, Dave Shondell, he knows. He knows the conference and stuff. He knows you're not going to win every single match. But what he can do is he can get his players ready for battle. And I think Dave Shondell does the best job out of any team here at Purdue to get his players ready.
That's what I was thinking when you said people maybe come back after 10 years of not being here. People who live maybe in California. They come back, they see a win. If they see a win, they go home and they say, hey,
come back.
Yeah, they want to come back. They tell their family, they tell their friends, hey, Purdue got a huge win this weekend when I was back. I loved it. I loved the atmosphere. I want to go back more often. And that's what you want. It brings in more money for the university. It brings in more, even word of mouth helps for Purdue fandom in any sport, volleyball, football, basketball, baseball, whatever it may be. If you're getting people talking about your school, it's going to work out well, especially on a homecoming weekend is what you want to see. So, like you said, if people are coming back after years of absence and seeing a win, it's going to help out.
So beginning of the year, we wanted to do an interview with a Purdue volleyball player, and I decided that I wanted to sit down with Azariah Stahl, one of the high flyers for this Boilermaker team. A big reason why they're ranked 22nd in the country. It's been her, Catino, Shavonna Atkinson, Blake Moeller. Those 4 up front, they've played well. And Azariah Stahl, at the time of the interview, she was probably one of the best players in the entire country. So when we sat down with Azariah Stahl, this is what it sounded like.
Dave Shondell and his Purdue Boilermakers could not have thought of a better start to the year. Thanks to the play of an emerging leader in her new role, junior outside hitter Azariah Stahl has the Boilermakers on a tear as Big Ten play is set to begin.
I don't want to say I was forced into in this role, but I don't think I had another choice. It was one of those situations where, I had to be a starting outside. I had to play all the way around, so I didn't have the option of shying away or being soft. I mean, I did have the option, but it wasn't going to be good for the team.
The Boilermakers have not lost focus at all this season as they have climbed up to 14 in the latest rankings.
So basically, whenever we play any team, no matter what their ranking is, no matter what the status is, no matter whether or not we're expected to win or lose, if we're home or away, we just think, worry about our side, play Purdue volleyball. Don't worry about what they're doing, worry about what we're doing. And just be fearless. Just go up, bang at balls, attack the balls on defense, talk a lot, and, really just reinstilling the confidence that I think, that might have been lost over the past couple years.
That confidence is at an all-time high as the Boilermakers upset 9th-ranked Stanford in 5 sets behind 20 kills from Stahl.
I think the reason why it is such a big deal, though, is because I think of what sometimes is expected. We weren't expected to win. We weren't favored. And I think a lot of times when you go into other gyms and you play with teams, you can kind of get a sense of whether or not they're taking you as a serious opponent or if they're taking you as someone like, oh, well, this should be a win no matter what. So I just think that we need to take it as like, yeah, it was a great win and yeah, it was a great upset, but that's what should be expected of us. We have to expect, the highest level of play from us at all times.
The schedule will not get easier as Purdue enters Big Ten play, and Stahl's main goal is that the team remains focused.
Now I think we're just focusing on, right now finishing up preseason and then going into conference play, and then, obviously all those things are going to matter when, we're placed in the tournament, but, it's kind of sound like a broken record, but just taking it one game at a time and just, seeing, where the dice lay.
Azaria Stahl, once again, highlighted on Purdue Package, and that was right after they beat Kansas and Stanford. I think, no, it was actually right after they beat Stanford, right before they beat Kansas. So that was big. And Purdue volleyball, they were on a very big high. And then they kind of went on the low. You heard Dave Shondell say that. And they've lost 4 matches in a row, but they've lost 4 matches in a row to, top 3 teams in the country. And you can't say anything because it's the Big Ten. And they're still, 22nd in the nation, #1 RPI, toughest schedule in the country. And what happened was Dave Shondell now realizes, and the rest of his volleyball team, that he has an opportunity against Penn State. So do you think they'll beat Penn State, and do you think they'll beat Rutgers this weekend?
I think homecoming, I think we can go 2-0. Honestly, I'm really...
That's all you got to say.
That's it.
That's all you got to say.
I think 2-0.
I think 2-0 is exactly... You don't have to tell me why, because I know why. Because our volleyball team is solid. We're a good team. And if we can play like we did in the beginning of the season, we're probably one of the best teams in the country. We were number 9 at one point in the country. So that's all we have. But we're going to do a little wrap-up in case you're just joining us right here. So we talked about Purdue football. You think they're going to beat Iowa. You think they're going to beat them 28-27. I said 24-13. You think Carson Edwards will be the biggest addition to this team. It's going to be a big input. You think Villanova is the best non-conference game. What else?
I think that's all that I said today, and I think those are the key points for this Purdue football, basketball, baseball, volleyball, whatever season you want to talk about.
You know what, guys? I haven't had the opportunity. Give me a handshake. Newest member of the Purdue baseball team.
You had to go out there.
This guy, if you go to a Purdue baseball game, he will be in the bullpen catching these guys.
I will.
How's it been going? I forgot to ask you.
It's been great. Mark Wazikowski's the new head baseball coach that we have here at Purdue. He's a great guy. I think he's going to get the program going in the right direction. And really, it's fun to be around the guys every day.
There you go.
A lot of talented guys on the baseball team, so it's going to be a fun season, I think, throughout this spring. So
there you go. You heard it first. Thanks for joining us on our homecoming special. We talked to Azaria Stahl, Andrea Petrina, Dave Shondell. We heard from Coach Hazell. You heard from Dakota Simon, Tommy Barrett, Connor Hoke, the rest of our great production crew up there. I can't thank everybody enough. Thanks for joining us, guys. Check us out on Twitter. Check us out on Facebook. We'll follow you back. At Purdue Package. You can follow me and him on Facebook. We'll put all of our shows out there. The radio show will be updated on, Purdue Podomatic. Just follow us. We continue to bring the best Purdue talk show here at the university.
You can't beat it.
Can't beat it. So with that, we will stop talking to you guys. Follow us, though. We'll join you next week for my TV show with Connor, and we'll see you on the radio show as well. So thanks for joining us, guys. Happy homecoming. We'll look forward to seeing you here in West Lafayette.